But what you have to do is take care of yourself too. Your job as a husband, you should try to find out what's going on. Like, baby, are you okay? Is everything straight? Can we talk about this? That is what a husband should do. But if she decides to stay in a mood, in a place, whatever the case is, you got to let that go. You got to move on from that and allow her to work through her emotions, but set your boundaries for yourself so that you don't get compromised in the situation. Right now, you're angry. She's better now. Then now you're pissed off because she left you there. All right, fellas, how do you stay sane and strong when you have a wife that has an attitude that tests your patience every single day? Do you feel like you're walking on eggshells in your own home? If so, this video is literally for you. Having a wife that has an attitude or attitude issues, attitude problems, is such an ugly thing. They can be as fine as they want to on the outside, their appearance looking all good, but on the inside, they're as ugly as they want to be from head to toe. It is so gross. Like, and again, don't get me wrong, men and women having bad attitudes is never a good thing. But a woman that has it, it just seems like extra. Like, why you gotta be so stank for? Why you gotta be so like mean and aggressive and all this stuff? Aren't you supposed to be like loving and nurturing and all these different things? And it's like when you're not that, it can be a major turnoff. But it doesn't mean that you can't work on working through it, and it doesn't mean that she can't change. So I always look at this from a standpoint of like, what can I do? What can I do as a man that will help this part of my wife's life to be a better thing, right? Now, it doesn't mean that everything is going to be for you to adjust. It's impossible. You can't do everything. You pray that your wife will do something different, but sometimes she doesn't. So if she's not going to do anything, then what can you do in the meantime that will possibly help that situation? So I'm going to give you a few things when we talk about it, but like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think, and yeah, go from there. But number one is you got to stay calm and you got to stay grounded with this, because when she has a bad attitude, the easiest thing for you to do is to get a bad attitude as well. It's to match the same energy. Do not match her energy. And I'm going to repeat this one more time. Do not match her energy. It's the worst thing you can do. If you're always wondering why you guys get into these long, drawn out arguments, whatever the case it is because you're matching her energy. You're matching her attitude, and you're giving attitude back. It's going to happen that way. You're going to end up having these long, drawn out conversations that don't need to be if you don't know how to keep yourself calm and grounded. The more you're willing to do that and the more you're able to do that, the better off you will be. It's just the truth. But the way you're going to have to do that is you got to stay respectful. You got to keep your mouth right. She's going to say some things that are going to be out of pocket, truthfully. But what do you do during that time to keep your mouth together so that she can't continue to do it? If she is, then she's clearly not ready to be over the attitude issue yet. She's still dealing with something, but just keep hanging in there. Look, today it might be 15 minutes. Tomorrow you may have hung in there about 45 minutes. The next week it could be 2 hours, who knows? But the longer you do it, the more consistent you are at being respectful in your approach and keeping your attitude calm and grounded, the better off it will be in the long run, because she's going to just be waiting for you to respond the same way because you always do it. So that when you do it, it just gives her an incentive to keep popping off on you when you know it's not something that you truly want in your own home, right? Your job is to de-escalate the situation, not to escalate it. Setting boundaries. This is a huge part. Setting boundaries in a home for your wife and your kids, or on your job, whatever the case it is, this is the only time it's really good to be selfish, right? Setting boundaries in an area like this with a wife who has a bad attitude is extremely important, because it's letting her know that, hey, I'm not going to cross this line. You're not going to cross this line. And this is what I'm willing to accept and what I'm not willing to accept. These are the things that you have to say, you have to bring up, because if you don't, she's never going to really know. And if she does know, when you do have that boundary set and you don't allow her to do that, and she starts getting more upset, whatever the case it is, then that has nothing to do with you, right? It has nothing to do with you at all, because you're trying to give her the best opportunity to communicate with you in a way that's going to keep the door open, right? But as soon as you set the boundary and she decides to kind of push her way through that door, you don't have to continue that conversation. It is not required of you to do that. You can end that conversation, say, hey, it's better if we do this at a later time, date, because This is not how I plan on communicating. And until this gets fixed or until you calm down, I'm done speaking. And honestly, that should be fine. Now, here's the problem that I've watched a lot of men run into is they say that, but then they don't hold that boundary, right? Another day will go by, and then they allow their wife to cross that boundary, cross the boundary, cross the boundary, cross the boundary. Do you see what I'm getting at here? If you allow someone to keep crossing your boundaries, then they're not going to believe that you're taking your own boundaries seriously enough. So you have to do that part, take action on that, and really stick to what you're going to say. So if you know this is a real boundary for you, keep it as a real boundary. Don't sit here and say, okay, now I've moved the boundary line and all this stuff. No, like even if something was wrong on your part, you still have a boundary and you still don't have to allow that type of communication to happen. So setting the boundary is going to be extremely helpful for you. But that's something that you got to decide to do on your own, right? If you don't do it, don't get upset by the way she's communicating, because you're letting her know that the way she's talking, with her attitude and handling it, it's completely okay. Even if you get upset, but you never told her, she can't assume, she cannot assume that this is okay. You have to tell her that it's not okay. You know what I mean? You got to do that. Also, there are times where you have to look deeper. What I mean by that, is this a surface issue of her attitude? Is there a root issue of her attitude, right? Sometimes we only focus up on the top based off what she's saying out of her mouth, because right now is the moment. But sometimes there's layers to this thing, right? Sometimes there's things that she's hasn't really addressed. Maybe she did a while back, but then felt that it didn't matter to you because nothing ever changed. So it could be deeper rooted issues that have created the attitude, right? And I'm not saying it is, but it's something to look deeper into. Start asking some questions. So, could there be resentment there that she has and you never knew? Could she be stressing out about something on her job, or just in general her health, right? I've seen my wife deal with a lot of health issues, in a sense of like, that's one area of her life that she struggled with, and it's caused her to feel some type of way. And because she feels some type of way, those feelings end up transferring to me. She shares those things with me, and all I can do is share with her what I believe she can do. But if she doesn't, if I don't do the things sometimes that she wants me to do, she can get a little frustrated about that. But it's like, baby, you have the power and the ability to pray over your situation. And so that was one thing that we had to learn how to do. She was dealing with some blood pressure issues, and when it got to a certain level, she started to like freak out, you know. And so it wasn't something that she wanted to do, but that was just how she dealt with it. And over time, it was like she used to wake me up every time when something's going on, to go for a walk or go do something. And I did, don't get me wrong, because I love my wife and I'll do what I can. But eventually I was like, okay, I believe that what she's doing is she's just scared right now. So I had to set the boundary, like, baby, here's what can be done. Do this, you know? And now that that issue is no longer a problem. You know, she's learned how to deal with it. She's learned how to address it. It was just easier for her to do it this way. Now she's found another way, and she doesn't have blood pressure issues like that anymore, which is a blessing. So it's like all that fear, all those things, sometimes just setting the boundary can create so much better results for you and for your wife. So again, looking at those things deeper is going to help you really understand what's really going on. Is it what she's saying, or are there more things that are causing those issues that you need to be aware of, right? Because sometimes it's like, I don't want to repeat this again. She doesn't want to repeat it again, so she won't say anything. But you can start peeling back those layers and recognize 5 layers down. Oh, I see. I didn't meet a need somewhere that she had been talking about. This is why she's bothered. So every small move that you make, doesn't matter what you do, she's going to get irritated with you. She's going to be have an attitude with you because you did not address the thing from a while back. Find out what the issue is. It could be a lot deeper than what you think it is, right? Oh, she just got an attitude problem. It could be. It could be. But it could also be something deeper. But your job is to find an understanding and not just blame her for having a bad attitude, right? But it still doesn't mean you can't set boundaries for yourself. It still doesn't mean you shouldn't stay calm and grounded. These are all things that should be done. And then also at the end of the day, after all these things that you've gone through and looked at for yourself, you still have to take care of your own self. You still got to take care of your own health, your own mental, your own everything, because you are you. She is her, right? If she wants to stay crusty and stank all day, then let her stay crusty and stank. She's going to have to be the one to work through that. But what you have to do is take care of yourself too. Your job as a husband, you should try to find out what's going on. Like, baby, are you okay? Is everything straight? Can we talk about this? That is what a husband should do. But if she decides to stay in a mood, in a place, whatever the case is, you got to let that go. You got to move on from that and allow her to work through her emotions, but set your boundaries for yourself so that you don't get compromised in the situation. Right now, you're angry. She's better now. And then now you're pissed off because she left you there. Don't do it like that. Take care of yourself. Go to the gym, get yourself right. Go hang out with some friends, talk on the phone with your buddies or whatever the case is. I don't know, watch a sporting event, do something that's going to allow you to keep yourself in order so that you don't allow her energy to match and now your energy is matching hers, because it's just going to be the worst thing that can happen. But before I let you go, I want to leave off with 2 scriptures because I think this is very helpful. Again, the Bible's been a very key part of my life, and honestly, it's the portion. It literally is the portion of my life. So there's 2 scriptures in Proverbs 15, and I'm just going to read them real quick. Proverbs 15:1 says, "A gentle answer deflects anger, but harsh words make tempers flare." So a gentle answer deflects anger, right? This is the thing that we're talking about, staying calm and grounded. But harsh words make tempers flare. You want to upset her more? You want to get her all riled up? Match your energy. Go ahead, match your energy. But if you don't, keep your attitude in check. It ain't easy. It's not an easy thing to do. This is very difficult when someone's popping off on you, but it's possible. And this is what you do. Proverbs 15:1. Get that thing written down, put it somewhere. If this is the person that you think that you're dealing with, get it in your car, put some scripture up somewhere you can remember it, right? And the second scripture I have is same thing, Proverbs 15:18. And it says, "A hot-tempered person starts fights. A cool-tempered person stops them." That's it. You ain't got to hear nothing else. A hot-tempered person starts fights and a cool-tempered person starts them. What person are you? Are you the one who likes to start the things? Or like the one that cools it? Are you the one that likes to cool the things? If you're the one that likes to cool the things, then everything that I said in here, you'll work on. Stay calm and grounded, right? You're going to work on making sure you can at least look deeper into what's really going on. Focus on the root issues versus the surface issues. Set the boundaries for yourself and make sure you, out of all things, you take care of your heart. Your heart is the one thing that's going to be the most important thing to consistently stay in a place like that with someone who's working on themselves, but you have it in you. Got 2 scriptures now to take on, Proverbs 15:1 and Proverbs 15:18. So go ahead and read them, get them inside of you. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, because it's really important for me to understand what you're seeing. Do you believe what I've said? Is there another thing that I've missed? Something else that you're thinking of? I'd love to know. All right, you guys, take care. Talk to you soon. See ya.